Hello there, and welcome back to another video. Now, a few weeks ago I reviewed the builds contained within this set, but since then I discovered that on LEGO's website they actually have a few more official builds for this set, so I thought I might as well check them out. Anyway, today I will be reviewing those builds from LEGO set number 10692, Creative Bricks from LEGO Classic. Now this set has 221 pieces, and of course that comes with 0 minifigures. So let's just jump straight into it. So on the front of the box you can see a few of the builds that are included, and you can also see that it does actually include a book with the instructions to build them. And there's also this nice shot of some random bricks laid out. And if we turn it around a bit, you can see a couple more of the builds, and of course more bricks, and a 1:1 scale of a brick. And then if you move further around, you can see that it actually shows you all the pieces in the set on these two sides, as well as showing you a few more builds that are included. Now, I am super excited to get into this, so I'm not going to wait any longer. Before I get into the contents, I'd just like to point out that they actually use this nice plastic lid with the studs on top to make it seem like a Lego brick. But the issue is it doesn't actually combine with the Lego brick boxes that they've made, unless you push it down with some force, but then that can damage them, and you can see that it's hard to get them apart, because there is this central anti-stud in the middle to help stick the actual boxes together. Here's everything that comes inside the box. 3 unnumbered bags of Lego, of course, because it is a box of ideas. And a 54-page ideas booklet. Now, I am super excited to build this, so today I am going to build this and wrap it up into a very quick speed build. Now, the first build is Santa's sleigh, and yes, it might be a bit late or a bit early for Christmas, but it's one of the builds, so I thought I might as well just review it and ignore that Christmas is nowhere near. So as you can see, this is quite an abstract build, and it doesn't look anything like the official Santa's sleigh set that they released a few years ago, or the other official Santa's sleigh set that they released a few years ago. But I do think it's a very nice looking thing. So if we start down here with the reindeer, there are actually antlers on here, it's just hard to see with the white background. It's a very simple shape, very blocky as well, but I think it does a good job of conveying a reindeer. You can see it's of course got the 2 legs here, a nice brown body, it's even got a little tail there. And then the antlers are done using these 2 big sloped pieces, which I don't think is the best thing they could have used, but I do certainly think it's the best thing they could have used that was in this set. So yeah, that's quite a nice section, and you can actually detach this from the rest of the build. I'm not sure if you're supposed to though, but that lets us look at Santa's sleigh a bit clearer. It's even on this nice blue base to represent the sky, and I really like that. It doesn't really separate from that though, it loses the legs. At least I assume that's the sky. For all I know, that could just be the base of the sleigh. And then if you move up, you can see the sleigh does have a quite nice shape to it. It's even got a little present back there in this compartment. Now they could have put more presents in there, but then they wouldn't have been attached by anything. So I think it's okay with just 1 present. And then of course you have the big man himself, Santa. and as you can see, this doesn't really look as good as the official minifigure, but you can almost immediately tell what it's supposed to be, and I think that's really all they were going for with this. So I do think it's quite a nice build. However, in terms of spare pieces, there are quite a lot. So as you can see, that just completely overpowered poor Santa there. But you can only build one build at a time, so it's to be expected that there's going to be a lot of spare parts. And that's a theme that's going to continue throughout this video. On to build number 2. Here is the second build. It's called New Year, and it took me about 8 minutes to build. Now, if you're like me, it's quite difficult to tell what year this is trying to represent. Now, it's quite clear that this is a 2, this is a 0, and this is a 1. But I had a bit of trouble trying to figure out what this was. My immediate thoughts were that it was a 6, but I didn't really think it looked much like a 6. So I've been puzzling over whether it's a 6 or a 5, to the point where I had to look it up in the end of the instructions. And it turns out that this build is to represent 2016. So let's just jump straight into it. I quite like this 2 build. It's very clear it's meant to be a 2, and it's got like an earthy, planty vibe to it. And I quite like that with the plants here and the mud around and the grass on top. I think it's quite a fun little build. I think it's pretty obvious that the 0 is representing some sort of house, maybe a doll's house, or maybe a house from the Lego Friends sets with those pastel colours. But I think this is another decent build. No window on the back, but that just makes it a clearer view through the front window. I don't think the 1 is supposed to represent anything specifically. I think it's more just a 1 with a propeller on it. But as 1s with propellers on it go, this is quite a nice one. And then we have the 6, and I'm not really sure what the idea behind this was. It's got white and black, so I was thinking maybe it's a cow, but then they've got flowers dotted around. So possibly it's a cow and the flowers are to represent like the grass and stuff. But I don't think this is the best thing in the world. Of course, none of them are the best thing, but out of the 4, this is definitely the weakest. Not only is this difficult to read, it also comes with a lot of spare pieces. So as you can see, it's a similar amount to Santa, but again, a lot. But like I said, you can only build 1 at a time, so it's to be expected that there's a lot of spare pieces. On to the third build. Here is the completed build. Build time today was about 6 minutes, and let's just jump straight into it. The first of these toys is this toy train, and it's on wheels so you can roll it around, but I do have to say those wheels are extremely small. If we get the trusty Hogwarts Express in here, you can see that that has a much more accurate size of wheels compared to this one. It also has the right number of wheels. But I'm not going to get into that as well, although that does contribute to the silly look of this train. But apart from the wheels, it's got this nice technique to create some sort of roundness for the boiler. I like that. Don't really see the point of this at the front. I feel like they should have put something there, but it does look a lot better than if there was nothing there. And then it's got, of course, the chimney here, as well as a compartment for the driver. You also get this stocking, which is a decent little build. You can immediately tell what it is. And there's a few nice toys poking out the top there, which is nice. It's that classic just red stocking with the white fluff at the top, which is represented by this plate here, as well as this brick at the back. And I think it does a decent job. And the final build is this remote control car. You can tell it's a remote control car because it's got that little antenna on top, but they seem to have forgotten to give us a remote. But it does have these wheels so you can move it around, and you can see it's just the most basic build for a car possible. It's got a little window there, and it's got 2 other bricks, and that's it. Once again, however, this does come with a lot of spare pieces. But like I've already explained a couple of times, it's to be expected. You can only build one build at a time, so you're going to expect a lot of spare pieces. Time for the 4th and final build. So the final build is this rose, and this only took about 3 minutes to build. It's a decent looking build. You can see there's the stem there made out of a few different green pieces, a couple of leaf pieces as well. And then the head looks quite nice from an angle, but if you look at it head on, it doesn't look as great with that square base there. But I think it's a decent build. There's not really too much to say about it really. With enough balance you can stand it up. But yeah, there's not really too much to say about it. It's a decent looking thing. But as with all the other builds in this set, it does have a lot of spare pieces. This definitely has the most out of all of them, because the build is only made out of 11 pieces in total. In fact, there's a few more that haven't fallen in. But yeah, there are a lot of pieces, but I'm going to repeat the same thing I've been saying throughout the video. You can only build one at a time, so it's expected that there's going to be a lot. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.